Hi everyone, my name is Valeska Marcelli. Today I will be sharing with you guys a quick overview about the simple verb tenses. First we have, what are the simple verb tenses? What does that even mean? The simple verb tenses are in English grammar are the most basic verb forms. They are used in tenses that talk about things that happen in the past, the present, or the future without getting too complex. They remain simple. They talk about things that happen regularly or in our daily lives without getting way too complex. First, we have that there are three simple tenses: past, present, and simple. First, the present simple, the one that we learn basically in the first day of English classes. Wherever you go, that's the first thing they will teach you. Uses a really basic structure. For example, these sentences that I have right here are you using simple present simple tense. She knows the answer. The sun rises in the east. I like pizza. I go to school every day. Here we have some examples having the exception about the subjects, because in this case we have exceptions with the subject she, he, or it. The structure when using this simple tense is that you're making a sentence with those subjects that I already said. You add an s or es to your basic verb, because the general most basic structure will be your subject, your verb, and the rest of the sentence. But when making the sentences with those subjects I already said, sorry about the redundancy, you add an s or es. She knows the answer. The sun rises in the east. It is different if I say the sun rise or she know. It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be grammatically correct. So then we have the other sentences. I like pizza. I go to school every day. It doesn't change the verb in any way. It just leaves the verb in the most basic present form. Also, when you're making questions or making a short or negative response to an answer, you use the auxiliary do or does. Does for the same subject, she, he, or it, and do for the rest. Do you know the new movie that came out? Do you like pizza? Does she know I like the color pink? Does he know that I like the color pink? Then we have, going a little bit more complex but remaining simple, the past simple. The past simple is also really easy to learn. It's the most basic past tense that we have. It uses the most basic structure like the present simple. You have your subject, you have your verb, but in this case the verb is in past form, not past participle, just in the past form, and then you have the rest of your sentence. Also, it uses another auxiliary differently than the present simple. Instead of using do or does, we use did for making questions or when answering to someone. For example, did you know that I liked the color pink? Did he knew that I liked the color pink? In this case, we don't add either an s or es to the verb. We just put the verb in past form, but making a huge asterisk here, an imaginary asterisk. We don't put the verb in past form if we already have the auxiliary did in the sentence. I actually already messed it up talking about this. Did he knew that I like the color pink? Something that happens regularly, don't worry about it. But for example, when I make a question like the one I just said, I said knew, but it was wrong. I had to say, did he know that I like the color pink? It is a common misconception, a common error. Don't worry about it. You just have to learn the correct way. Then here we have a special case because you have to change the verb. The verb doesn't remain in the present form or just adding an e or an s or es. We change the verb completely. We take it from present form and we put it in past form. When making verbs in past form in English, there are two categories: the simple past forms, and then you have the irregulars. You have to completely change it. For example, when I say I ate, and there's the past participle, but we're not going to get into that. Then we have the regular past forms. You add a ed to the verb. For example, when I say complete or completed, we add an ed to the verb, and that way we make it a past verb form. So it's really easy to learn, so then you have to worry about it and think it's way too complex. It is not. Then we have the future simple. In my opinion, this future simple to me is the most beautiful of the three of them. I don't know if it makes any sense, but I like it for some reason. For pronouncing reasons, it's a little bit difficult because, for example, we will do something, we will do that. It's a little bit difficult to pronounce for some people, at least for me. But the future simple is, like the name says, and sorry about making this joke again, it's quite simple. So we have, in the structure of the future simple, we have your subject, you have your auxiliary, will, and you have your verb and the rest of your sentence. The verb in this case remains just as it is. You don't have to make any changes to it. Even if you're using the subjects or the special subjects like she or it just remains the way it is. But you have to add your auxiliary, will. Also, there's no other auxiliary, there's just will. So it's really easy to learn. For example, I will travel tomorrow. I will eat today. I will like this movie one day. I will go to college one day. Those are few examples. Also, we use the future simple to talk about things that will happen later, that we know will happen without giving too much detail, like I already said. So it's really easy to learn. And sorry about my Japan, I just like to talk a lot. So I hope you understand all the things I just said. I hope you remain to have a really good day. Thank you a lot.